before we even switch into the in-game view has been revealed. I feel a very important piece as we get going here. So we've got the close spawns. Our first player in the bottom left, who may or may not build a lot of roaches this game, from Team Waystation, it is Check. Trying to carry that Zerg torch. His Zerg brother is waiting in the upper bracket match. And of course, his opponent in the top right, the red Terran player known as Captain America from Team CM Storm, it is Polt.
Are you sure it's Way Spider and not Way?
Oh man.
They have a cool logo though. If you look like next to the hatchery, it's a small spider. It's a little yellow logo. Anyway, on this map, in these positions, what do you think would be a good choice for Czech if Polt was to use his standard build that we know all about?
Well, the thing is, taking a third base is going to be really difficult. Polt, most likely, I'd almost put money on it. He's going to take his gas very soon. He's going to go up to a Reaper, potentially up to 3 Reapers he's been doing still pretty recently. And that's a very strong way to open on this map because of how far away the third hatchery is. If Polt goes Hellion Reaper and Czech tries to take a fast third hatchery, he's going to find himself either potentially even losing a third base early on or losing a lot trying to defend it. So 2-base play is not really that uncommon. I'd actually wouldn't be too upset if you went for some type of either really heavy queen play to defend or maybe an early roach attack, but that could be a bit predictable, you know, if from Polt's perspective, if you can get a scout off.
You say that Polt doesn't 2-racks much. Czech surely knows that. Is there a way he can play extra greedy? Well, I guess now he's answered that, like he hasn't played particularly greedy, but could there have been a way where he would have made, like, say, hatch 16 and then pull, like, 17? Or will he take damage against a Reaper if he did that?
I think you basically go on autopilot for the early game. Like, if you're not worried about scouting, we didn't see a drone scout come out from him because, you know, he doesn't have that early pressure to worry about. And maybe you can get away with building your extractor before your spawning pool, but it's not that big enough of a difference if you're used to playing it the other way. So it really comes down to how comfortable he feels dealing with this Reaper because it's about to pop out. I expect to see another one queued up behind this, and this is where things, you know, this is where the doors open for Polt, because once you scout that gas, you realize, okay, there's a short spawn distance, and my opponent has a lot of options for aggression.
Yes, and Polt definitely should be looking to try and play it as safe as possible from there.
This sweet tweet from Sergio Laraca, WCS America 16, it's time for Melinda the Banshee. If only she can make her glorious return to the StarCraft world.
What about Melanie the Probe?
There's no Protoss in this group, Todd. Zergling's being poked back by this Reaper, and you know this is that stage of the game where Polt can say, okay, I see that your spawning pool is shimmering. You know, Zergling speed openings are not uncommon because the rush distance is small. That, you know, Czech could try to do a Zergling-Baneling attack. However, Polt, he's going to go up to 3 Reapers, so he's going to keep a constant amount of pressure on, and this is just a nice position because any Zergling he kills now really stunts the aggressive potential that Czech has once his Zergling speed finishes. He really wants to retain his Zergling count at this stage.
And you know, it's a very good scout because Polt, he saw that speed as it started, he saw it start. So basically he was able to time exactly on the clock when it's going to finish, which should be around the 6-minute mark. So from there, he can basically time everything he wants to fall in place to make sure he can defend, be it a bunker or just not have too many SCVs down his ramp, maybe have his Reapers back at home at the time. Oh, he actually loses one.
Oh, that's, you know, an uncharacteristic mistake from Polt, losing the Reapers in the early phase of the game. There's so much longevity that they can nab you, and actually steps up, tries to snipe this creep tumor. He does get it. That's quite nice.
Yeah.
That was the first tumor planted, I believe. So that actually, you know, it all starts with 1, Todd. That's that can slow him down quite a bit.
Is to be careful here. Actually, speed's about to finish in 5 seconds. I really thought that you would have played it a little bit safer. I think maybe he knows that there isn't that many links, but he's gonna get chased down.
Oh, he's got his
playing
Hellions.
with fire a little bit.
He's got Hellions on the way. Oh, what? Zerglings. It's like, oh, turn around, we left them behind. And if these Reapers escape,
there's quite a few links on the map, actually 7 right now, that are gonna chase down those Reapers, possibly kill them.
I like that Polt's actually drawing these back though, because if these Zerglings got into his got over to that natural expansion before the Hellions are out, things get a little bit crazy. I'm surprised. It's really impressive he kept the Reapers alive. And that third base gets taken by Czech, so he's starting up 10 more Zerglings, but he has that third base, and all he really wants to do is maintain some semblance of map control. If he can kill any Hellions, if he can catch any of the Hellions of Polt, then that buys him a free pass to basically drone up that third for days.
I was fully expecting a Viking to start. Oh, actually he cancels. Okay, there we go. He started the reactor and the starport. I was like, what? Polt always gets a Viking when he starts World finishes, so he cancels that. He gets the Viking, and behind this we should be seeing, I think, more mortars being made, a Medivac to follow up the Viking, and that one single Medivac drop to try and do some damage here and there.
Yeah, we've seen Polt go into the reactor after the Viking, but definitely not prior. So these queens are out here, and these Zerglings, if they can catch these forces from behind, it'd be a really nice pickup. Gets just one of those Reapers, but Polt, he's continuing to produce Hellions. He's got 6 out on the map. He's going up to 8. This is what I was talking about. He likes to get this high Hellion count. You can't just take map control away from Polt. He really refuses to let it go once he manages to grab it with those Reapers. So Czech moving across the map. Polt, he's not quite in position, but his wall is up, so these shouldn't do too much. And Polt needs to watch how close he goes to this base.
Czech needs to be careful. I think Polt knew that the Zerglings could be middle of the map, so he's not going to risk it with his Hellions and try and do a run by. A nice little wall by Czech, double Evo plus the Baneling Nest. No kind of Rotron yet, or any kind of flare tech. He starts the lair now.
I really like that Czech didn't spread out any Overlords. The only one he has is behind the Natural, and the Viking has not yet found that one. Polt is going to go up to...
No, he had another one that already died.
Oh, okay. He's going up to 10 Hellions. Now going to switch off of that reactor. But this is a lot of pressure he can put onto these queens. It's really forcing Czech to bring Zerglings into the equation if he wants to defend these bases. And now this third, suddenly, the drones are all going to get cooked up here. This is a really nice pickup for Polt. He hasn't really slipped up so far in this game.
Yeah. Polt started 3rd command center, and man, his Viking is on a mission, going all the way around the map right now.
He's on a quest.
Not finding anything. Can he not see? Oh, he can't see that Overlord near his Natural. Why does he need to snipe it? Maybe it's next on the list.
Just mercy, right? You want to make sure you have something at the end. These queens actually kill Hellion, which is quite nice. The only thing that Polt, when you look at his style, characteristically leaves him behind. The later 3rd command center can hurt, but his SCV production has been on point because he's forced out so many Zerglings. And his engineering bays are going to be late, but this drop,
10 Hellions
by the Overlord.
10 Hellions and a Reaper against 3 Zerglings, 6 Banelings, and 6 Queens. Okay, a lot more Zerglings on the way now.
Stim's right about to finish with these Marauders, and the Banelings are going to try to run up, but, I mean, you split Marauders versus Banelings, they're not going to do much versus that. Polt, this is a really cool little bit of pressure that he's doing. He doesn't even need to switch him in the Hellbats. He'd rather be able to micro versus the Banelings, and it is working quite well so far, Todd.
That Warcraft 3 micro, man, he's making it work perfectly right now. Czech's pulling back. He's waiting for reinforcements. Those Marauders doing so much work.
Yeah, I love it. The Marauders just soak up the damage, and those Hellions clean all the Zerglings off of them. Suddenly, only 2 queens remain here. More Zerglings are coming out, but I feel like Polt has already done the damage he really wants to. However, he really would like to clean out the space because he's going to be behind on upgrades moving forward. He's just started his 1-1. These Hellions,
my God.
One more shot on these drones. That's quite nice
Polt
for Polt.
has killed over 100 units in this game already.
That's uncommon.
He kills so many drones too. 18 drones have been fried. He lost only 17 units to do this.
Very well played by Polt so far. Now he's got his 5 racks set up. His additional medevacs will be coming out soon. He's building a reactor with that starport. And keeping any of these Hellions alive is also really nice. I don't think he's gotten his armor yet, but in the later stage of the game, of course, he can turn those into Hellbats. And this Viking still scouring the map for Overlords. Not really many to find, but Polt's going to move out and take his 3rd base. And this is where things get awkward on this map because Zerglings... there's a lot of space between here. You don't wall off your Natural to 3rd on this map.
Man, that one Viking here, about to possibly get a 3rd kill. Done a pretty good job of clearing the entire map. And Polt is going for the Widowmine heavy style, I think. Yeah, he was making them 2 at a time. He's going to continue, I think.
That's actually a really good point to bring up as these Marines push away these units from his 3rd base. But Polt actually went for really heavy 3 factory play towards the end of that MLG run, where he lost in the grand finals. But 3 factory, yeah, I mean, not necessarily versus Zerg, but his TVZ style got really cool the way he adjusted after those matches versus Scarlet. 3 factories, really heavy Widowmine production. He's a Terran that still believes in the Widowmine. He hasn't joined the Hellbat Church just yet.
And we see another factory start, so could be seeing that style here. I really like the wall on the 3rd base here by Polt, who's getting an armory, I would say, about on time to be able to start his 2-2 as soon as possible. 6 first mutas on the way here for Czech. And I really feel like for Czech here to be able to keep on expanding while making units is going to be very difficult because Polt is going to start applying pressure. Look at the supply. He's so far ahead. He's killed so many units and lost so little in these games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Polt has he's controlled phenomenally well at this point in this stage of the game. The 4th hatchery is on the way for Czech, and he wants to defend this creep spread. This is really the only direction he's been pushing the creep in. The Widowmine actually gets a good shot off on those Zerglings. but the 2-2 has started, and Polt finds himself, you know, he always ends up just a little bit behind in upgrades. It's never really a crazy amount, but he somehow always manages to make these engagements work in his favor either way.
You think he's going to try to leapfrog a little bit with those Widow Mines and go forward?
I think that's the best way to use the Widow Mines. You want to bait the Zerg player as far back into them as possible, and if you can get them to go too far, you pick up one of your medevacs, you fly away, and you've got your next wave of Marines waiting for you. But now the drop play begins. This is the benefit of not having those Overlords. And a third factory on the way for Polt. He is going to go very heavy into this Widow Mine production, and, you know, I can't really fault him for it. It's good.
Good call on the third factory. Polt has a lot of map vision, by the way. If you see on the top left-hand side, he's prepared some Widow Mines, some units here and there to make sure that no kind of Zergling, Baneling counterattack. Ooh, hold on. Check's gonna go for it.
Yeah, he's trying to fight him on the creep. Those Banelings do not have their speed upgrade just yet, just a few seconds away, but he will step forward, and as you can see, without Baneling speed, not the scariest units in the game. The Widow Mine even killing a few Lings. But
Medivac is gonna drop in the main.
Yeah,
Check is completely out of position.
You know, Polt, you mentioned this. His map vision is the Zerg's vision at this point. Like, this is what you'd expect out of a Zerg player to have. And now Polt can apply so much pressure in different directions. His Widow Mines get big Zergling connections, and he's still going ham in the main base. The +1 attack should finish for the Mutas, but yeah, he can't build any more now. He starts up. He's got 4 Mutas on the way. He's not going to be able to add on any more now. And these Mutas should be able to clean up the drop.
Yeah.
But he's still on the right side. Like, Polt is not giving up. He is continuously just playing a little bit of a pressure in every direction, non-stop. Baneling speed is done, so it should be easier to engage for Czech, but how many Banelings does he have to fight with at this
supply
point?
right now, 132 to 73. Czech is gonna go for it, but there are Widow Mines everywhere. Polt's gonna pull back. Look at this minefield.
Yeah,
how do you break this?
He's trying to run through. Czech is taking some surprisingly big hits from these Widow Mines, a bit uncommon to see these days, and it's given Polt a phenomenal position in this game. Keep in mind that Polt's been a little bit behind on upgrades. His 2-2 is now about to complete. He's about to be even on upgrades, and you've seen how well these fights have gone so far. It's only going to get better. The Overlords have spread themselves out now to catch some of these drops, but he needs everything at the front to defend because he can't even max out.
Polt has just completed Draining Claws, by the way. That's really going to help in those fights to burrow quickly. Oh my god, there are Widow Mines in the middle of the map. The Zergling.
Zerglings come in, Banelings. Okay, the Widow Mines don't manage to detonate on too much. Still has a lot of Banelings left, and Polt suddenly needs to reel his forces back, burrow those Widow Mines, and not detonating just yet. Really important to keep those, from firing.
He's attacking at the same time. The army of Czech out of position. He's going to have to run through the minefield here, I think.
Oh, well, there's a couple of those units soaking up a few shots, but going through the left side, he's not going to lose any of those Banelings. But you know what? That base gets picked off. Very nice and Polt in the natural at the same time, just bringing these drops every which way. And this, if you don't lose these minefields, this is where Widow Mines become really good, because you just get so much longevity out of them. They completely lock down an area if the Zerg player does not have that overwhelming force.
Units lost. Polt has killed 200 and almost 300 units, whereas he has lost less than 100 units. So he's been trading the entire game extremely well.
Yeah, this has been some great play from Polt. He still has those units on the left side. He's been pressuring the front. That actually, as he cleans up on the bottom right, he's got a drop already prepared to kill this hatchery, not even canceled from Czech in the top left.
Wow.
And this is just getting worse and worse. The Spire is done again,
so
he's going to build 9 Mutas.
The Mutas missed the Medivac, which is dropped on the island now, so I think he's going to go for the main next. Polt is just everywhere. His multitask
and Polt has his fourth. His fourth is locked down.
He's even going to take a fifth, I guess, soon, because he's got a bunch of commensations. Okay, this is going to be found. He trades a little bit.
It's nice to clean this up, but he still trades away Mutalisks for this Marine force. And at this point, with Polt's bank, he's got money in the bag. He's not concerned about losing a few Marines here and there. These Banelings are going to come up. He still has the Marauders up front, some solid connections, but he can't press in because, as you mentioned before, that big old Widow Mine field. He's coming in. Czech wants to push this army back. The Widow Mine detonations actually help him out a little bit in this fight as he finally cleans this up, but Polt, you know, he's been brought about as close in supply as we've seen so far in this match.
The thing is, behind this, he has so much production available. He's got 3-3 on the way already. Czech he's not about to start 3-3 anytime soon. He's kind of broke, to be honest. He's been stuck on 3 bases the entire game. Look at his third base. 42 drones out of 24 for Czech. So he's not even mining properly here. He's trying to take one Marine, actually.
He's really trying to
get Billy?
I don't know, but he's going to die.
Definitely
he tried.
Not Billy.
Definitely not Billy. Billy would have had 100 kills before he got killed at that hatchery. But Polt's building 5 Widow Mines at a time, which is it's one interesting way to do it, because a lot of people would say Widow Mines aren't effective. Polt just says, no, you're not building enough. As this Mutalisk Zergling force goes over, and that planetary fortress, you walk up to a planetary, you have to turn 360 degrees and walk away, Todd. Can't
that
attack
what
into
you do?
those. Yeah. It's not an assailable fortress.
I feel like Czech right now, he thinks he has to make something happen. I agree with him. He has to make something happen. The thing is, Polt's defense has been way too good the entire game. He had units everywhere. You see, even on his force base, he has turrets, he has marines, he has a PF. He's ready for everything. He's going to secure a new base as soon as he can. Oh, this could be Czech change here to catch Polt out of position, but the thing is, the army supply is always overwhelmingly in favor of Polt.
And now his 3-3 is about to complete as well, so he'll have an upgrade advantage. You know, forget all the deficits he's had that he's somehow still been winning with. Now with an advantage, I'm really concerned for Czech as to how he's supposed to hold this off. He, like we said before, he can't max out. He's got a good number of Zerg, a good number of Mutalisks and Banelings, but there's still so many Widow Mines up here.
Yeah, Czech's trying to do some work here, some demining work. But, well, he's done well, I guess. The thing is, Polt is permanently maxed out right now. He's got an insane production. 8 barracks, 3 factories, a single starport. So he can make a lot of units at once. Basically faster than a Zerg can, especially because of his economy. He's actually started to accumulate quite a bank.
Polt is everywhere on this map, and you said it, he's got a nice bank. Even if he takes a bad trade, he can afford to replace everything so fast. He's getting those I really want to make sure I can't be harassed upgrades like building armor, high-sec auto tracking. This is a good opportunity if these Banelings can connect, but Polt, look at this spread from his forces behind this mineral line. He's not even able to kill all of the Marines, and he loses all his Banelings. Marines with 3-3 and the natural expansion as well. GG is called. Polt takes game number 1 in rather